Pros and cons of living in an HOA community.
But first, let's hit it. Hi, this is Alan Victoria Pinder. Welcome to our channel and podcast.
And if this is your first time in our podcast and YouTube channel, subscribe please and get notified.
Honestly, I get calls, texts, and emails all the time at 252-327-3357, so I can't wait to talk to you.
Exactly. If you are in the market and you are searching to be a home buyers, you need to also make sure that you are aware of the HOA, because HOA is an entity that forces a rule in the community that chooses to be governed.
Right, so it has a legal powers, this HOA. It can place a lien on your home if you have not paid your HOA dues. They can impose fines on you if you break the rules, and they can sue you for not complying with the rules. So it's super important to know, hey, there are rules and what they are.
Exactly. Now we're going to jump to 9 factors to consider before purchasing home with an existing HOA.
And some of these are going to just be general for the country, and some of them are going to be more here, specifically in Greenville.
Exactly.
But when you are buying your home, the very first thing is ask your realtor what is the HOA and have them give you those rules that I just said. So they can be things like what color sidings for the house, or colors for the roof, or what materials that you can be using, what type of fencing, what's the height of fencing, can you park your RV or a trailer in your driveway? What else?
If you are in condo or townhouse, maybe what visitor parking is.
What others?
Or if you can use it as a vacation renting, no?
Right, so that's where the Airbnb comes in. So maybe there are rules about Airbnb. Also, maybe they can be very strict about what yard decorations you can put in your yard, what type of yard work you can do, and what else?
Or additions, like whatever addition to your house.
Right, so these are things that the HOA are typically putting out there. What is the second thing we want to talk about?
And if you cannot find this in their website, make sure that your realtor is going to contact the HOA directly and find all these things that is important for you to know.
Okay, so the second thing we want to talk about now is the HOA fees, which are going to be listed in the listing itself. If you do not know how much the HOA fee is, definitely ask your realtor.
And exactly, and this HOA actually, it depends on the location because it's variable. Depends on the size, depends on the square footage and the orientation, as I said, where it's located is.
And it can also have, which we go into the next one, number 3, amenities. Maybe it doesn't have many amenities and then it's a cheaper HOA. Maybe it has a lot of amenities, and that's amazing if it does, but you're going to pay the cost on the other end. So you have to find out what you are paying for.
Exactly. For example, what is included in your amenities? Like, for example, do they pick up the garbage for you? Do they provide, for example, cable and internet services, or any of the utility that is included in your HOA fees?
And maybe you live in a fancier HOA to where the golf course might be included, or a golf membership, or a community center that's only for the community, or a pool. These are all nice amenities that HOAs can offer, but HOAs then have to pay for that, which brings us into number 4, right?
And make sure you use it if you got that HOA and that house.
Right, because you're paying regardless.
Yes.
So number 4.
Basically, number 4 is HOA operations, no?
Right. So this is, while they have a managed community, they're going to agree to a bundle of legal obligations and entitlements.
Yes.
Such as pools, tennis courts, whatever it is that even if you're not using, you are still paying if you are part of an HOA.
Yes.
So make sure you know the rules about how many guests you can have. When are the meetings? Who's voting? What are the inspections about? What are the notifications? What are the fines? What are the special...
Exactly.
There's tons of things that might be involved, so make sure that you understand what the organization is.
The next one, number 5, is HOA finances. Therefore, HOA finance is super important because that is how they fund for unexpected expenses or capital investments.
And if you're buying in an HOA, you have to also make sure that those finances are in order, because maybe your loan will not go through and it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with your lender. It has everything to do with that HOA and where their finances are. So make sure their reserves are there to where they have a large enough cash reserve to pay for the maintenance, the unexpected happening. Because if there is a lack of funds, you are now going to receive a ding, ding, ding special assessment if you live there.
Exactly.
And that can cost you money.
And cost you a lot of money.
Good.
And definitely the financial plans.
And so you want to understand what their multi-year repair and capital investments are, understand where they're paying this money to, and what there's going to happen. And if there is a special assessment coming up, you need to be aware of that.
Yeah, definitely they have a plan like a 5 to 10 years, and they know how the HOAs look like. And definitely you need to know about those plans. The number 6 basically is HOA fees and your mortgage. Therefore, this is very important because most of the lenders, or I can say all of the lenders, basically will factor HOA dues on your finances when you want to get the loan, because
they're looking at that DTI.
And also they do with the property tax that is not included in HOA.
Right. So make sure that your fees are understanding your mortgage knows them. Number 7 basically is HOA legal powers. Right. If there is any sort of disagreement within the land community, the residents can be fined for breaking rules. So understand how the rules are set, how they are enforced, what penalties can be enforced, because the HOA is a legal entity which can bring people to court for not paying their dues and for breaking the rules.
Yeah, and then number 8 is basically is HOA reputation. Make sure that basically you find out that what is the reputation of this HOA is when you wanted to buy a house.
Right.
And what they should investigate, basically.
Absolutely. So if you can, try to talk to the HOA president or at least understand who it is. Also, just as a side note, not listed, but a lot of HOAs in our community are actually looking to put Airbnb restrictions in their covenants. So if they do have HOA restrictions on using your home as an Airbnb or something like that, you need to know if that is what your plan is. So, or if you're for or against, but you need to know what's going on. These are just one little thing. So let's bring it into number...
And also make sure that at least you talk to some of the local owners to get an idea how they act and behave and how collegial they are.
And if you're in such a time crunch that you need to make that offer right now, at least drive the community and see what's going on to other people. So see what kind of fences they have, see what yard space. So you at least get an idea by physically using your eyes.
Number 9 basically is HOA insurance responsibility.
Absolutely. The insurance provision in a plan development can be divided up equally into people, which is going to be part of your HOA fee. And it can cover some perils of error, which are covered together. So maybe you don't need roof insurance because it's covered under your HOA roof insurance. So just something like that if you live in a condo community. Insurances, of course, vary by state and by community and the type, because obviously a single family home HOA is very different from a condo association HOA, because you just have the buildings are different. So that is important.
And at the end, we wanted to just list some of the pros and cons. We said all of the issue that you might be basically dealing with, but in generally, basically
many people like HOAs for these reasons. It's neat. The neighborhood is well kept. There are certain amenities, or that they like the fact that there are rules in place. Now, the other side of the coin, some people do not want an HOA.
Yeah, exactly.
For what reason?
That, for example, you're required to abide the rules, no?
Right.
And could be sometimes very expensive, depending on the area and location.
And HOAs can also be aggressive in making sure everybody is following said rules.
Because they have illegal powers, as we said.
Right. So we hope this was a good thing. We are not pro or against. It is up to you. You live in the home, so it is up to you what you are comfortable with. But we are absolutely happy to talk to you about the HOA or anything. Thank you for being a good audience for our podcast on YouTube. See you in next video and podcast.